Good evening and welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. It is IFT Banter Derby episode time. The two teams that are forever in Arsenal shadow are going to go head to head to see who is the ultimate banter club. No, but in all seriousness, we've got a big show tonight. We've got the boys here. We've got some big Premier League, some Champions League, some rule changes, some more Liverpool VAR. I'm sure you're not shocked. It's going to be a jam-packed show tonight. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to smash that like button. Hit sub if you haven't already. And I'm going to throw over to my man, RJ. How are you going?
I'm just laughing in the back of my mind behind your club. When you win a Champions League, then we can have a conversation. Rob, 100%. Why are we letting these plebs dominate the convo, mate?
I don't know, mate.
In all seriousness, great to be back. It's always nice to join you fellow champions of the house. But speaking of champions in the house, Rob, how you doing, my man?
Good, man. I'm in a pretty happy mood for some reason. I don't know why, considering our game tomorrow morning should be the opposite. But
you're ready to pick up the bogey win against us. Mate, I can see it.
United's drive me to the drink, mate. So I need this to get me through the episode tonight. But I'm looking forward to it.
You've frozen up on me, RJ. You're still live, mate.
Good stuff. Well, also in the house this evening, I just want to give a special shout out to Tom from the United podcast. So g'day, Tom. Nice to see you, champion. We have Justin here. G'day, Justin. Hope you're well, legend. Football Capital, board chair. Always a pleasure, mate. Good luck. I hope you don't have another impassionate plea against your team tomorrow morning, because it's going to be a great game, I'm sure. And we've got Daniel in the house here, my fellow Blues brother. Always nice to have you, champion. I think we should quickly get into the Champions League semi-final, guys, because it was quite a tale of two affairs, I would say. You had one game in particular, the Real Madrid versus Manchester City, up and down, action-packed, drama aplenty. And then you had the other game, which was a bit of I don't want to be dramatic, but a little bit of a snooze fest, and not the best endorsement for what you want in this stage of the most prestigious competition in European football, at least. Scott, I'll throw to you first. Just focusing on the Manchester City Real Madrid game, what did you make of that, buddy? Because I thought it was quite an end-to-end action-packed clash.
Yeah, look, it was an epic. It was, exactly the kind of game that shows why we all love football. It could have gone either way, I thought. I would probably say Man City, for me, were the better team and deserved the points just. But I wouldn't have been shocked if Madrid had stolen something out of the match again. Karim Benzema maintaining that red-hot form and giving Mo Salah a run for that Ballon d'Or next year already. It was just an excellent match. And
he's in front for me, Scott. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I think he's in red-hot form at the moment.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, you balance that out, though, across the first halves of the season where Salah was on fire and we weren't really talking about Benzema. They've kind of had half the season each. It's going to be interesting. I know I'm getting ahead of myself thinking about Ballon d'Or, but can't wait to see how they manage to give it to Messi instead of either of those guys.
Well, did you see the list, Rob? Did you see it? They had the Daily Mails one where Messi is apparently in the top 3 ahead of Benzema. And I thought, who are they coming up with this stuff? I think it was just a bit of a clickbait G-up. But you know what? It just goes to show you can't take publications like that too seriously. But speaking of taking things seriously, do we need to start taking seriously the prospect of both the English clubs, Manchester City and Liverpool, locking horns in the Champions League final? I feel sick saying it, Rob.
I know, man. I was having this conversation with the boys yesterday. I don't even, if that was to happen, which I think is a very high chance, I don't even know who I'd want to win, to be honest. It's just it's a double-ended sword for me, mate.
Don't lie. Yes, you do. You cheer for Liverpool, Man City, like you guys did not long ago.
Yeah, that's a different situation. But look, honestly, like it nearly works in the opposite. Like, I never want Liverpool to win anything, but Liverpool have been there, done that 6 times now. It's kind of just like, okay, yeah, you've done it again. I think it'll be like for City winning it. That's like them crossing that threshold and coming into the elite.
I'm just clubs. Torn. I'm so torn because
at the moment they're in the Arsenal basket, but like they don't want to. I don't want them to jump over to the Chelsea United basket at the moment.
100%. Because on one hand, City's never won it, and that's something we can hold over them. But
100%.
equally, every time Liverpool win a trophy, the media hysteria that follows it, it's almost unbearable. And you know they're a great team, but collecting more silverware, it's just, well, I don't know about that. But in terms of their game this morning, because obviously we mentioned Real Madrid and Manchester City, that's very much an open affair, despite Manchester City Madrid at the Bernabeu, as we saw against Chelsea, and the quality finishing with Benzema, the Karim Reaper, and Vinicius Jr. in particular, plus the star-studded midfield, who you know on their day can really produce the goods. But Liverpool, it was a bit of a cakewalk this morning. Very disappointed with Villarreal. I just thought they'd throw a little bit more of a punch and have a bit more of a go, but very disappointing. So what did you think, Rob? I'll go to you first.
Boring game, man. I said I watched it again, and yeah, like I didn't feel like it had that kind of semi-final kind of vibe. Like it was very, Villarreal kind of, this is the real Villarreal, and this has kind of been Villarreal against Juve, Villarreal against Bayern. They've kind of just done the whole sit back, try and hit them on the break. They've had a bit of luck. They've made a bit of their own luck, but this morning was really it was mainly one-way traffic, really parking the bus, and I think they're just trying to get a result to hopefully take back to Spain. So, but credit to them, it did go for quite a while, but once that goal came and broke through, I don't think anyone's seen Villarreal equalising, and I think it was just damage control to try and take a 1 or 2 back instead of a 3 or 4. So yeah, look, Liverpool done what they needed to do. They got the home win. They got the advantage going into the next leg. I think this one is a done and dusted. I think they needed to get a result or something of a kind today, Villarreal, to have any chance. And look at this, mate. I was the one to send you this today. After the weekend and after you and your FA Cup with Lukaku, this is a Champions League semi-final. We're not taking the piss now. This is a Champions League semi-final. If this was the final and this was the core that got this over the line, that's a disgrace, mate. That is a clear offside from nearly 2 players. They've got the technology.
Do you think so? Do you think Mane's offside?
That's clear, man. Clear as day.
I even went back and watched it 3
I think
times.
I have more of a grievance with how quickly they decided that it wasn't offside.
Look, he's offside there. The ball hasn't even left his foot yet. He's offside. Tell me he's not offside.
To me, right, I look
if
at
that's onside, Ronaldo was 1,000,000% onside the other night. 1,000,000%.
I don't even need the line. Looking at that, it's dreadful. And you know what? Villarreal losing this 1-0, not the worst result in the world for them. 2-0 for them with they're more of a defensive team. 2-0, I think, is too much for Villarreal. But 1-0 for them, I don't think Emery would have been disappointed. You can see this with the naked eye. It's a dreadful decision, and I'm shocked it's gone Liverpool's way. Shocked.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being maybe I've had too much of the funny drink, but I don't think it's as clear cut to me. I'm looking at both of their feet. That's a lot closer than what I've seen. I think I'm more upset with the fact that, again, they keep benefiting from the marginal calls. So I don't know, man. It's not black and white to me, but that's the point. When it's not black and white, the benefit of doubt's gone to the attacking team. And that's how it should be, I think. You guys think it's blatant, but I don't think it is blatant. I just think it's one of those weird calls. I don't know. But terrible. Look, let's not ponder too much on Liverpool and all the fortune they get, because that's just like one of death taxes and Liverpool getting the benefit of VAR calls. Let's focus now. Looking forward, there's some bumper clashes in the Premier League this weekend. Some of us have got a double game week to look forward to, Robbie. So, look, I don't want to focus straight away on United Chelsea. Let's save that one first, Scott. Let's go to Newcastle and Liverpool, just to get the ball rolling. Newcastle's been in really good form at the moment. We know what's on the line for Liverpool. Your thoughts, Scott, on how this is going to play out?
Nothing other than 3 points to Liverpool, despite Newcastle's good form. We've said it so many times this season, Liverpool are just in that next tier, that elite level. And I don't think they'll have a hangover. They'll beat Newcastle. I'm going to go with 3-1 in this.
Wow, 3-1. Robbie, what do you think? Bit ambitious, or is it on the money?
Look, I don't know, mate. I want to finish and I want to win now tipping comps. I don't want to give away stupid ones, even though I've got a good lead. But look, my head's actually saying, or my heart, whatever, is actually saying this is going to be a draw. I could see a 1-1 in this game, but for my tip, I do think, especially with this morning's win with Liverpool, I think that's helped them for the future as well. I think they can concentrate on the Premier League, knowing that they're pretty much 1 foot in the final. They can concentrate on the FA Cup final. They're not going to have to rest players. I do think they'll get this over the line. 2-1 to Liverpool just.
Yeah, I think with Newcastle with no pressure, playing at home, good form. Eddie Howe's doing a really good job at the moment. They're closer to the top half now, obviously, where they are. I think there's just a lot more pressure on Liverpool, but they seem to do well under pressure at the moment. So I think they're not going to buckle. And I agree with you, Scotty. I reckon they'll win. I'm just disputing 2-1, 3-1, but just for sake of consistency, lock me in for 3-1. Now, Aston Villa versus Norwich. This game here, I'm not going to spend too much time on. Norwich is finished. Aston Villa's had a bit of a banana skin month or two. I do think at Villa Park, though, they're going to want to get back to winning ways. And I reckon they're going to lock in a 2-0 win for me personally. Robbie, what do you think, mate?
Yep, 2-0 for me as well.
Make it a hat-trick, 2-0 for me.
Wow. The IFT hat-trick, bookmark that one, ladies and gentlemen. Southampton versus Crystal Palace. Both teams that can excite on their day, but equally can throw up some real surprise results, namely Southampton 6-0 1 week, beat Arsenal the next week. You know what they can do. They're very Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think this one at the Saints' home ground, I've got a feeling this is going to end in a 2-2 draw. Exciting game. Teams both not much to play for, but it's going to be one for the neutrals. What do you boys think? Scott, go to you first.
I'm going to go 1-1. I don't think they'll be split, but 1-1 for me.
Yeah, I agree with Borgen. This one I agree 1-1.
Nice. So working our way down the ladder here, we've got a game that I don't want to spend much time really. Watford, Burnley, really.
Let's just quickfire that game, RJ.
Yeah, Burnley to me, I think will win this one still because they've got hope here. I'll go for a 2-1 to the Clarets.
2-0 Burnley.
1-0 Burnley.
Nice. Wolves, Brighton, guys. This one here is one of those funny games there because we know Wolves are a very defensive-minded team. Brighton are a very possession-heavy team, but really lack that firepower up front. Being Wolves at home, I could see this one very much being the old classic 1-0 to Large's boys and they move forward. What do you guys think? Scott, go to you first again.
Again, I'm going to be boring and call another draw, but I think this one might be a 0-0. I think they'll just cancel each other out.
I'm going to go for the opposite. I'll go 1-0 to Brighton on this one.
Nice. Robbie's with his 45-point buffer, going with the random gambles. I like it. Leeds United, Manchester City. We all know, again, what's on the line. Manchester City, for me, I still think got enough firepower despite Leeds' really good form lately. We must praise them. I think Manchester City will go and take this one. I'll lock in 3-1 as well, like for Liverpool. Robbie?
Yep, 3-0 City.
Ooh, I'm going to go 2-1 City. I think this will be a lot tighter than we're suggesting. I don't think it'll quite be as good as David is saying, but yeah, this one might be tighter. I could see it being 0-0 at halftime. I'm going to go 2-1.
5-0. We need City to get those wins, get those goals up. Make sure they get that buffer from Liverpool, mate.
Who's we?
Geez.
What do you mean we need City?
He's such a City fan.
Are you talking about Manchester United fans? Is that the we? Because I don't 100%. Care if City or Liverpool.
Yes, 4-0. Smack them on. That's right.
You lot.
Wow.
Dead set.
Wow, what is happening here? How good would it be, though, to see Leeds put on a good game? And the same thing with Newcastle, just to really stick it to the big boys and say that you can't just walk all over us. But speaking of walking all over, this is actually, let's go back to United Chelsea because this will be the second part of the game week, so might miss things up a little bit. United in the mud at the moment. Chelsea very hot and cold, must be said. It's just at the start there. I'll go first. Yeah, I'll go first just to give you the backdrop. So Tuchel came out and basically said we've got some good news on the injury front for a couple of our players that are starting to get back into contention for playing tomorrow, but it's a bit 50-50. But considering what he said in the press conference about what's going on behind the scenes, I've got to admit I'm a little bit nervous with the fact that they're talking too much about this whole ownership saga. And I'm worried that's going to be a little bit on their minds, even though they're professionals. I'm still a bit concerned that United, they're playing really poorly at the moment, or for the most part. They've got a few injuries and absences. It's all pointing towards a very easy or comfortable Chelsea win. We know that's not the case for us, and I'm quite nervous about this match. But given what's on the line, I think that we can do enough to get through it, and I think I'm going to lock myself in for a 2-1 win in the end, a difficult 2-1 win that we'll just be happy to get those 3 points. Robbie, how do you see it, mate?
Yeah, look, I think for United, we haven't really got nothing to lose, mate. The form we've been in, I'm actually got a little bit of confidence in this one, just because like I said, I reckon there'll be possibly 1 or 2 debutants tomorrow. They could bring a little bit of that.
Robbie?
Sorry, mate. I think Fernandez is one of our fullbacks. Possibly could be coming in. Maybe there's a couple other boys on the bench. Names have gone off my mind at the moment, but yeah, we could see a couple coming in tomorrow. Youngies, because we've got, like I said, the opposite of what RJ was saying. We're dropping flies, mate. We've already had a bit of an injury list. Sancho's another one that's he's not injured, he's ill, so he won't be playing tomorrow as well, which that's a big loss for us as well. And he was a bit of our flair last week in the Arsenal game. So we're really, like I said, looking for those players on the bench. We might promote a few youth, but we're at home, and Chelsea haven't beaten us at Old Trafford for quite a while. We've had quite a few draws. I don't know. I'm just going to go for a draw for this one. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
How good is that comment? I'm sorry.
Scott's having a laugh about the Wi-Fi comment. Well, hopefully not as good as United's last 5 years, but either way, we can only hope, right?
I gotta love it.
I don't know, Scott. What do you think's going to happen here, mate? Because both teams, like I said, we're the favourites, no doubt about it, but we haven't got the full complement. United are definitely in holiday mode, despite them being there's enough good players in there to shake things up. You saw it against yourselves.
Third on lock for me, so I don't think they're going to be really worried. Honestly, even if they took a draw away,
it's not guaranteed, Rob. We've got a few hard games to come up. Not this one in particular.
You haven't got any of the big
boys.
There's
a few there that I can't quite put my money on it.
But
that's the problem. The big boys haven't been a problem for us. You're chasing. Tottenham's chasing.
We're still
we could
chasing.
easily stuff this up.
Even if it's not third, RJ, you can't. It'd be an absolute crazy shock if you guys dropped out of the top 4 with 4 games left in this position. You really need something drastic to happen, man.
Look, from where I'm standing, boys, because neither of you want my prediction, because I'm about to flame both your teams. Having watched both your teams get pumped by my team in the last couple of weeks,
talk it up.
I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm trying to play it in my mind. I'm thinking, who did we dominate more? And out of all the weaknesses in both your teams, who's going to exploit the other more? I am going to go with a 1-1 draw in this, only because I think both your teams are awful, to be honest. And I'd be happy for Chelsea to drop points. United, I'd also like you to drop points, because I know you're saying top 4 is officially dead, but I'd still like a little bit more of a gap, because you never know if Arsenal, when we might just turn it off.
But you're so good, you shouldn't worry about anybody. You dominated the teams. You lost 2 in a row the other week, and our season's expectations were we were never meant for top 4. But now,
look, 100% win rate in the IFT derby. So look, I'm sitting pretty. I'm happy. You boys can duke it out. But for one of you, Tuesday,
mate, 1 from 1, mate. You forget that we beat you this year.
Tuesday,
we beat you as well.
Exactly. So it's 50-50,
Tuesday. Let's wait till Tuesday, because I want to see which one of you boys is going to be complete. I hope it's a draw, because I feel bad for whoever it is that loses 2 IFT derbies on the trot. I actually like you both. I don't want either of your teams to lose. So 1-1 for me. I'm going to go with Ronaldo to bang one in, because he always does. And Chelsea, well, look, who knows? Who knows from there?
Who knows? We might get another raft of sanctions and we might not be allowed to turn up. We just really don't know. All I know is that regardless of who wins or loses, unlike Scott, we'll make sure we do turn up for that week. We're not going to dog it. So all good, Scott. Don't worry, my man. But let's go ahead to the next block of games, because like I said, we've got a few more in the pipeline. It makes for a very interesting run to the end of the season, to be honest. I saw David's comments about Lamps, if you complain about Chelsea getting rub of the green, because that is, again, part of the double game week. So I think David is very pro Lampard here, naturally based on the whole Liverpool game last week. But this one here, this could be a really funny narrative where Chelsea could win, that could sink Everton, that get relegated, or equally Everton get a shocking win, puts a lot of pressure on us. So I don't think it'll happen. I do think we will get the win at Goodison, but it's going to be one of those friggin' cagey results that I'm very, very nervous about. So again, lock me in for a 2-1 to the Chelsea Blues, not the Everton Blues. Scott?
The big Frank Lampard mega derby, sacked by one club and getting the other club relegated. The real win is his legacy. The real win is his legacy. But you know what? Frankie boy, I can see him pulling something out of thin air in this match. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this as well, which I think I've tipped for every game this game week. So 1-1 draw here. Frankie's boys to upset you.
Nice. Wow, we'll see.
I could just see the next morning in the paper, Chelsea sink City legend down to the championship. So I think
City legend.
No, I'm joking. I know he's your favorite player.
I like it.
No, honestly, I think Chelsea will absolutely smack him here. I'm going to go 3-0 to the Blues.
I could live with that, definitely.
Do your Blues, mate. Sorry, just to make sure. Daniel, the Chelsea Blues, that's right.
Nice. Next game, Tottenham very much in the race for top four. The wheels have started coming off the whole Conte train, and his head's in Paris, arguably. I still think, though, against Leicester, who we know have been very underwhelming this season, Tottenham at home with all to play for should get the job done. Let's be frank about it. 2-0 to Tottenham. Robbie?
Yeah, look, I seem to agree with you, but we've seen what happened last week in the last two games. Not a shot on target in 2 games for Tottenham. Again, this one is a big one for them. This could be like the one, especially coming up with that North London derby. They really need to get these 3 points. So I do agree. Tottenham at home, I'm going to go for a 2-0.
Very nice, Scott.
Interesting. Spurs inconsistent at best, but I've got no love for Leicester this season. They've just been dreadful. I'm unfortunately going to have to tip Spurs to win this one 2-0.
Ooh, okay. Like myself. West Ham Arsenal. Scott, why don't you kick things off, my man? This is a huge game for yourself. West Ham's got their money and mind on the Europa, of course. So do you think they're going to field another weakened squad or what?
Yeah, look, I think for them, stepping back and looking at this game in the context of their season, this is nothing compared to that semi that they're in. I don't think we'll see their full strength team, but like you said before, RJ, sometimes it's the unexpected this season that's hurt teams. So I think it'll be a tight affair. I'm still worried about our goal scoring form despite the last 2 weeks. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Arsenal, but I think it'll be cagey. But these are really big 3 points for us in the context of the top 4 race.
Fair enough. Robbie, how do you see it?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham on this one, just because I want to see salty, teary. I want to drink your tears, Scott, because you really jigged me up in the last few weeks. So I hope West Ham good. I hope they get a result tomorrow in the Europa League, and I hope they take it over to the Arsenal game, and they can put themselves back in that. They're not out of the Champions League race either. You can't write them up. If you guys aren't riding Arsenal, personally. Well, you guys keep saying United have a chance, so they definitely have a chance as well.
What's the table situation, though? But let's have a look. I've got the table in front of me. They are 2 points behind you, though, Rob, and a game at the same time. So I think it's different to you mathematically. Like another 2 points is huge with 4 games left. So, they're not apples and apples. That's why I still think you guys are an outsider's chance. But it's huge. Who knows? Like, I still think this one's going to be a 1-1 draw. West Ham were doing a good job against us, really keeping things tight, but we were quite fortuitous in the way we broke them down.
It's not difficult, mate.
It's not difficult holding you guys. You guys haven't won anything for a while. Imagine if they won 3 games in a row, Rob. We don't know what we're going to get, to be honest.
It'll be unbearable if they make the Champions League next year. I hope they lose, mate.
No, I'm just going
It's
to
like
get.
that guy, Scott, from AFTV. You know, the one where you were on a high and the guy's going bananas about you've got the best young team in the world. We've got to get him on the show one night. He would be unbearable, I reckon.
Do my
Absolute
head in,
nut
mate.
job.
I'd be sick that night.
Oh, I'll tell you what. You know what? I think that is there any other more games on the Premier League front?
No,
'Cause I know we've got a couple of Europa League semi-finals. Just I know, Rob, you're quite keen to unpack. So there are West Ham and Leicester both flying the Premier League flag. How do you see them both going? Rob, I'll go to you first.
Well, yeah, look, I know we could be in this competition next year. I'll go to the Leicester and Roma game first. I actually think this is really going to be a low-key, really good game. Obviously, I'm going to be on the I'm on the Mourinho train or the Roma train tomorrow, but I'd like to see Roma make the final just to keep the Italian teams flying. But it's just typical Jose. If he was to go first year in the Conference League and he's a trophy pick. We all know what he's like, and to win the first one, he would love that. So I'd honestly like to see Roma in the final. And West Ham, mate, this is massive for West Ham. If they can make a final, that again, if they can't make the top four, I can definitely see them with a chance to win the Europa League and get into the Champions League that way. So that's absolutely massive for them. So I think that'll be another good game. Is it Leipzig they're playing, Arch? I forgot.
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt,
wait.
and then the other one.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, Scott. Yeah.
Is it Frankfurt? Yeah, West Ham and Frankfurt.
Yeah, and I think the other one is Leipzig, and I can't remember the other team now. But yeah, it'll be. I think it could be Marseille or something like that. So it should be really good.
It's funny, isn't it?
Leipzig,
there are some
Rangers.
really good teams. Yeah,
Leipzig,
go
Rangers. Yeah, Rangers is
Leipzig, Rangers, West Ham, Frankfurt, Feyenoord, Marseille, and Leicester, Roma.
There you go. There we go. That's it. No, some good games, man. So should be good.
Yeah, and absolutely.
I mean, look,
what I'm liking, I've got to say, because I try to be a bit of a Champions League snob, but there are some quality teams in this Europa League, and some of the standards really been improving year on year. So actually been following quite closely some of those results towards the latter stages of the Europa. And when you get this far, you want to win it. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. Scott, any thoughts on that before we move forward?
Look, you'd like to see the English teams progress. I would love nothing more than Roma being out. It would just back up my views on the Italian league. You boys know where I stand on that. But let's not go. Let's save that debate for another day. I think West Ham should do Frankfurt, and Leicester Roma to me is the big one. That's the one where I genuinely have no clue what's going to happen. I have no idea. I couldn't even tip it.
Yeah. I just want to bring up this comment here about the Italian league, and obviously I'm an Inter fan, and I saw what happened against Bologna earlier. Mistakes happen. The goalkeeper made a huge howler. AC Milan scored right in the last second, obviously, or last minute with Tonali there. All it's saying to me is that the competition's really close, and there's a few teams that could go on and win it. I've been really impressed with how AC Milan's going. Inter's right up there despite losing Hakimi and Lukaku. And that's a free howler from a reserve goalkeeper. Premier League keepers have made mistakes all the time. So I don't want to make too much, or I don't want to read too much into it, rather. And in terms of how they're performing in the bigger competitions, knockout competitions could do that. I don't think how a team goes in the Champions League, I don't think is enough of a factor to say whether or not the league itself is no good, because it's what happens in that 190-minute block or the two games. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. But, yeah, Premier League, they dominate the money, they dominate the power, and that's why they dominate more often than not the top four finishing. But let's move on to the prospective changes being proposed to the Champions League. So Scott's brought up the post from Optus Sport about these proposed changes. What do you think about these, Rob, especially the whole Final Four format that's being proposed here?
Mate, I'm very strongly don't touch it, and now I'll tell you the reason. I just think it'll take the romance out of the game, to be honest. Especially for the fans, I think it'll really take the home supporters away from the action, especially the whole no two-legged finals and all that kind of stuff. Look, the only time I think this worked was, I think it was 1 or 2 years ago when we obviously had the whole COVID situation. There was no crowds at all, so I actually didn't mind the format. They went to the one place, I think it was in Sporting or whatever it was, or Portugal, sorry, and they played the whole one-legged tournament. They kind of done it all in 10 days, and it was entertaining because there was no fans there, so they had to do something like that. But look, let me just say, Liverpool, Barcelona. What was it? Barcelona, Chelsea that time when you guys won in the last second with Torres. PSG, Barcelona.
What a moment.
All these games, people have turned scores over from crazy results. I just think it takes away the whole, home and away advantage, the whole home crowd thing. For me, again, it's not broken, don't fix it. I'm a fan of how it is now, and I wouldn't want it to go to the new format like it is, like they're saying or like they're suggesting.
Scott, do we fix what's not broken, or is it broken in your opinion?
Look, I don't think it's broken, but I also think you've got to have a mentality where you're constantly looking at things to see if there is a way to do them better or in a more entertaining way. Now,
but is this better? Is this better?
I'll tell you in a moment what I reckon. But I wanted to bring up Tom's comment. He said 2 legs is a part of European football. They've stolen our away goals. Now there's no need for it. See, I actually look at that Man City Real Madrid game. I look at many of the fixtures in the knockout, and I'm stoked that they took the away goals rule out. I actually think it's made a hell of a difference. Now, when that was proposed, I'm sure a lot of us might have said, it's not broken, don't fix it, leave it alone. But when you see it in action, I'm stoked that the away goals went. I think it's made it far more entertaining, and it's given teams more incentive to go for it. Now, when I look at these changes, there are things I like and things I don't. I actually like the no 2-leg semi-finals. I think players are playing enough games. The semi-finals are towards the back end of the season. Fatigue, injuries, I think of all of that. I don't think you need 2 legs necessarily. I really also like the idea of that mini tournament, those 4 teams all being in the same city, rotating the city around. It's almost like a mini World Cup with club teams. So I don't mind it. I'm not saying that I'd go for it, but I also don't hate it. You'd need to see this play out. But I could just imagine it being in Sydney, right? And you've got these 4 teams, the away fans all come down, and everyone knows the away fans do it best. The away fans are always the ones that'll sing the most, are so dedicated, get into all that. You've got all 4 clubs, away fans in one place. I think it would just be a football festival. I'd love it. They could really pump it up too. So I'm not against this. I think it's exciting.
Take this into consideration. Obviously, you're an Arsenal fan. Arsenal's in the semi-final. We're just going to say Paris are the hosts of this mini tournament. So you guys make the semi-final, one-legged final, get knocked out straight away. Like, don't you feel just like, okay, I'm going to hang around here for another couple of days after we've just lost the semi-final, hang around, probably play a third-place playoffs, because that's what they'd probably do in a final format of a mini tournament. They'd have both losers play the game before the final. No one wants to watch that game. No one wants to see that game. You've just traveled to Paris to watch a losing game. If you've lost, if obviously complete opposite if you've won and you went to the final. But I just, for me, I would want to watch 2 legs, and I'd want to cheer my team home.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a position
I'd want to
that
think, and then if it's the final, then you travel as your way and you enjoy the final more.
I don't know. I think you might be commenting from the point of view of a traditionalist, because I think if it started off the other way and it was proposed to say if there was 1-legged semi-finals and someone said, no, we're going to make 2-leg semi-finals, you'd be like, why? It's the penultimate final. Why do you need to play it twice? I think it very much it involves what your starting position is. And I think the fact that we're used to this and it's worked for so long, the idea of shaking up something where we've gotten used to it, it's a little bit scary. Look, for me personally, I think I like how it is. I think they have made changes along the fringes. Do you know away goals? I get what Tom's saying, and I felt like that too to an extent, because I kind of like the strategic battles of trying to protect an away goal lead and that sort of stuff. But I know that can sometimes lend to teams being a little bit too pragmatic and it's not as attractive on the eye. But equally, by having that Final 4 format and a 1-legged semi-final, it's probably one of those situations where we might kick and scream as fans initially, but life goes on, you'd move forward and all of a sudden you adjust to it and you'd love the product all the same. So I understand you should have an open mindset to doing things. I just hope that when they're doing this, they're basing it off enough data to suggest that it's actually an improvement and not just a massive money grab, because I feel like a lot of this is just trying to become more globally attractive rather than genuinely improving the product, which is already so strong in my
100%.
opinion.
Exactly right. This is a money grab again for me. This is what I mean by when I said it's taken away from the fans. So this would be the mini tournament would be like a Club World Cup. That's what I'm saying. When you have your two legs, you have obviously both teams and both fans get their home advantage to see the team. If you were to go, just say they had this in, again, I'll say use Paris, 80,000 seats. There's no way you're going to get 40,000 fans from each. You're going to get 20,000 here if you're lucky, 20,000 here, and then you're going to have another 40,000 neutrals in the middle. That's, for me, that shouldn't be how it is. When your two teams in the final, you should have half each. Whoever wins the battle deserves to go to the final, and you get to enjoy it home and away.
Of course,
That's
it's a
actually
money
another
grab,
topic.
though, boys. It's all a money grab, and let's not sit here and pretend like our three clubs aren't the beneficiaries of many money grabs. The world game now, unfortunately, money is a massive factor. The Premier League is where it is because of the broadcasting rights. The broadcasting rights have helped to elevate the league as a whole. Yeah, so I don't care if they make money off it. To me, this is not like the Super League where they're making money, but they're butchering like
that's the point,
many
though.
leagues,
That's
competition.
and that's the point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, this to me is I think this is a tweak. I don't think this is butchering anything, and I actually think they need to scrap the whole two legs. For me, I would have no two-legged ties. Play everything one leg, neutral ground perhaps or something, but I don't like the two legs. I think it drags.
Don't kill European nights, man. One-legged, the whole tour one-legged.
What, are you not going to turn it on if it's one leg? You're not going to turn it on. Do or die, one match, high stakes.
How can you have one leg in a mutual ground? Where's the mutual ground? How's that going to work?
I think it'll just be like a final, Rob, where everybody, because it's all or nothing, fans from both clubs will just have to congregate for the one evening. All it does
because they would have travelled for the away trip anyway.
It halves the experience, in my opinion.
Not for me.
Yeah, we'll see where it's going. We'll see. And there's obviously Davide made a good point here around the whole Super League thing hanging in the background. So there's obviously a lot of noise happening from some of these elite clubs basically going and saying, look, we need to get more reward for what we bring to the table. And I can see very much they're trying to appease those sort of elite clubs. So look, it'll be interesting for us. I'll put on the table now and say, if they go into this new format, I'm not going to go and boycott things because I ultimately want to see my team win. I don't care about how they go about it. It'll be sad because we've had such a good system for so long, but progress sometimes is not a bad thing. We just got to do it respectfully. And again, make sure that it's really been done with the right motivation in mind and doesn't hurt the product. We don't want to hurt the product. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. So, Look, have you guys have any additional points on that? Because I just want to move forward.
Look, just quickly to wrap that up, I also think you've got to look at the two-legged ties where sometimes it's over after the first leg. And then you've got people traveling, squads having to travel in the middle of congested calendars for a second leg that's dead.
I just gave you a perfect example. Barcelona 4-0 first leg, 3-0 first leg, Liverpool come back at Anfield 4-3.
But who knows what would have happened if that was one leg, do or die, crunch time. Who knows what would have happened in that?
I don't know. That's what I mean. The excitement, you can't. That's a night that'll go down in their history as one of the most memorable nights. Same thing for when Barcelona done it to PSG that time. Like the historic games or historic overturns. For me, that makes it more exciting.
Well, in some sports and close to home, like some sports, NRL, for example, obviously very different products. But when you get to the preliminary semi-final, which is the penultimate final, it's a one-legged affair. They don't play home and away, and it's equally high drama for the fans that all go there for that one-off occasion. So in some respects, it's more theatrical because it's all or nothing in that one game. But equally, I'm with you, Rob. There is a narrative there to say, if you keep the two legs, that the good times can keep rolling, because if you lose one game, you might have the magic of coming back. And I think you do lose that if you do chop off the second leg. But either way, I think the important thing is to try to recognize that things are going to come and go and change over generations, and we can't just be too fixated on one model. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's
No,
my
I
way of
agree,
looking
I
at
agree.
it. Yeah, that's good. It's a pretty good debate here. I like this. This is good.
We
Good
missed a
topics.
game, didn't we? My fault. I
We
missed the
did.
United Brentford because that's at 5 a.m. So
Yeah, we're
we
assuming Brentford win 5-0, right? That's why we thought, everybody.
these are Rob's two teams besides Man City.
Rob's Derby, mate. Rob's Derby this year.
I reckon. Rob's a big Brentford fan. You must be conflicted, mate. How do you see this one playing out?
What can I say? I'm buzzing for this game, but
I like
geez,
it.
hard to throw that in. No,
He
look,
stung us, mate.
I think it's at home. Look, United are on course, unfortunately, that we're on course for our lowest points Premier League season ever, which is bad. So I don't know what we're going to do again with the Chelsea game, but a game like this at home I think it could be our last game nearly at home. I hope we put it on something for the fans to give a little bit of hope for next year. So I type 2-1 to United for me.
It's all contingent on the result against us. If you lose, if you do lose and you then definitely have nothing else to play for, in my mind, like you still want Europa, is it one of those situations where you just really look to the future and start giving those youngsters a run? I don't know, Scott. What do you think, man?
No, I think United will take this. Despite the fact that we pumped them, they were dominant for large periods of the game, and they were just missing that little bit of a clinical edge. Now, if they play like that against Brentford, it could get ugly. Like that, they were very good. They just didn't finish. I can't see them doing that many more times. So I'm going to go with United 3-1 over Brentford.
Where's it at? Is it Brentford Community or Old
Trafford?
Old Trafford?
United again, yeah.
United.
I don't know, man. I know. My head's telling me United's going to scrape through this one, but Brentford, I know particularly what they can do to you if you're not switched on. I just think United were going to want to give their fans something to salvage for the end of the season. So I'll lock in a 2-1 to the Red Devils, to be honest. But I think we've covered all the games now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure. But let's look forward now to the lighter segment, the fun part, the part you've all been waiting for in many respects, the IFT's endorsed quickfire round. Rob, I know you're prepared. Why don't you kick things off, mate?
Boys, strict tonight. These are quickfire one answers only, all right?
Right.
See how good we do, because I don't think we've ever done it. Are you an optimist or a realist?
Realist.
A realist optimist.
Come on, I can't remember.
Optimist. Come on.
I'll go realist. Would you rather sleep in or take a nap?
Sleep in.
Yeah, sleep in.
Take a nap for me. Work hard or play hard?
Play hard. Bugger work.
Definitely.
Play hard for me as well. Quality or quantity?
That's hard though. Depends.
It depends in the context, mate. That's
right.
right.
I'm throwing it out there just like that. Off those two words, you go for it.
I'm going to go quantity.
I'm going to go quality.
Yeah, I'm going to go quality. And sunrise or sunset?
Set.
Rise.
Rise for me as well.
All right, RJ, you want to go next? Because I've got none this week. I've been hopeless.
Yeah, just from it's a football thing segment. Is scoring against your old club and then going and celebrating that goal against your old fans a football thing?
There's a lot. It's a grey area for me. It depends what you've done for the club. If you're just a no-name, and then you go do it, fair enough. But if you're someone like, I'm a fan of if you've done something for the club, don't celebrate against your old club. So like I said, what Frank Lampard, for instance, done when he scored for City against Chelsea and he didn't celebrate it, I'm a fan of that. But like someone when was at Bayer or whatever, when he was at Arsenal and City, like that's.
See, I have no issues with Adebayor because the fans were giving him stick all game, and he was basically, if you read some of the things that came out after, if they're true, he was sold against his will. He didn't want to go. So I think if the fans have given you a tough time and it's an ugly exit, celebrate hard in front of them fans.
That's what I said. It's a grey area for me.
Yeah.
I'm the same. Like I remember again with Lukaku. Like when he scored for United against Everton, he celebrated. I'm fine with that. He done more than enough for Everton. He left. Nothing was wrong. They were giving him stick. He upgraded. Fair enough. But yeah, if you're a legend of the club or you've done something, and then it's like Messi. Could you ever see Messi celebrating against Barca if that was to happen? For me, no way it would ever happen. And
it's a good question. I think it's really
a hard one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting on the fence.
I remember when Luis did it against us. To be honest, when he scored, knocked us out of the Champions League with PSG, and then he came back to us and like awkward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hard.
Yeah, I think it is a football thing with a little asterisk. Conditions apply.
Yeah, agree.
So Scott, just to be clear, you have not got any quick fire questions.
I got nothing at the moment, boys. Sorry. I'll bring some nahs on Tuesday. I'm good to go.
I've got one for you. Is not having a quick fire question, a sackable offense? Yeah, no.
It's a red card for me.
It's a red card.
Lucky we're finished then, because you're sending me off at the end of the game.
That's it. You're red carded for the end of it. Speaking of at the end of it, we are at the conclusion of tonight's festivities. We've had some Wi-Fi technicalities. We've had some banter about Liverpool. We've gone through a lot of fixtures, a lot of analysis, a lot of great conversation from the live chat. Scott, Rob, any last words before we say good evening to these lovely people?
Now, look, another top one, boys. Always loved it. So, all the best, but not all the best for the morning, for the derby. Hopefully it's a good game. That's what I want to see. And I'll see you on Tuesday night.
Yeah, look, for me, just for all the neutrals out there, enjoy the banter derby. Enjoy watching their two teams go head to head. Let's see. The real winner is everyone but Manchester United and Chelsea. Enjoy the banter clubs. What a time for his Wi-Fi to go bust, hey? RJ, you with us, mate?
Excellent. Very well said, guys. Obviously, I'm going to say up the mighty Blues tomorrow. Got a lot of stress. The Chelsea boys, we're dealing with a lot of these off-club issues. But you know what? We're here. We're buzzing. We're going to have a great weekend. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, because we're going to be back on Tuesday going through it all with you lovely, fine people. Before you leave, slap a like on the video. Come back tomorrow. Drop a comment. And to Declare's question, am I going to get a PS5? I'm too busy coaching real football, working hard, playing hard. I'll have to see what happens in due course. But until then, we're out. Take care.
Ciao.